Now that we got John's truck out of the way and back on the road, we could do a little work on some of the things that might have gone wrong while we were doing that. Well guys, better than last time we had to have it in the shop. We had to push it down the hill, but I was really hoping the next time we had it in here, we would put in the lift, wheels, tires, bumpers, all that kind of stuff. Not the case. I mentioned in the last video that, well, you know, John borrowed a Jeep while we were working on his truck, and his run of bad luck continued for a little bit, and the alternator locked up on this thing. It snapped the belt. So we got to throw an alternator. Not a huge deal, right? It did kind of suck. Wrestling the wheel in with no power steering and all that, but by now we're used to it, right? So we got the belt, we got the alternator. We're just working on motivation now. We're getting there. So I mentioned this in the last video, or maybe it was 2 videos ago. We were like 2 blocks from the house, and John made a turn. All of a sudden, it stalled on him. He went to the side of the road, got it started again, caught right back up to me. I was just barely ahead of him, and we pulled down to the shop here, and the belt was squealing like crazy. Pulls in front of the shop. We let it run to see what was going on. We didn't know what the noise was, where the smoke was coming from, and then we quickly figured out when you opened the hood. We shut it down. This is the funny part. So we shut this thing down, and we're both standing under the hood like this, right? Just looking at, hey, okay, smoke's coming out, right? So the belt, it goes like right across here, right? Well, it comes down. As we're sitting there, right, we're looking at it, it just went snap, and fell down. I was like, what? Just weird, right? So, here's the belt. She's no good. So, we got a new belt. We got a new alternator. We got a Rock Auto Magnet. What do we got here? An AMC. All right. Is that the Javelin? Yeah, that's the Javelin. So, new belt. AC Delco. New alternator, AC Delco, because this is not a Chrysler Jeep. This is when it was AMC, mainly GM parts and all this. It's probably the only reason I owned it, because like Chaz said, 91, Chrysler ruined Jeep, and she's an 89. Just saying. So, not a big deal about the alternator. We gave John a hard time. This thing's, like I said, it's an 89, and this could very well be the original alternator. Who knows, right? I don't know. I've only had it 2-3 years. So who knows? Either way, by the way, alternators have gotten a little pricey over the years. Back in the day, 30-35 bucks. Now the local auto parts store wants $160 for their made in China crap. Rock Auto, 60 bucks. For an AC Delco. So if you don't need it now, it's worth the wait. Better product, better price. Maybe they'll sponsor me. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna get working on this thing now, huh? I guess I can stop putting it off. But I'm not gonna. You guys should have known better than that. It's actually laid out. It was raining. This thing is wet. I don't feel like getting wet. And it's supposed to rain again tonight, so I wanted to just pull it in here and have it ready for the morning. See what's the right thing to do. All right, guys, it's the next day, and a beautiful day, I'll tell you what. Went on a ride this morning, so that was pretty dope. All the guys, we went to that place Buckets, which you can see in the episode where the FXR goes on a poker run. Had the famous hangover burger, got egg on it and all that. Good, just straight good. Now I guess it's time to quit screwing around and start working on this thing. So, pulled it in here last night, which was a solid idea because it did rain again last night. Even though everything's all dry now, especially the Jeep that was inside all night. So that's good, it means the roof don't leak, right? And so the alternator is on the very bottom, right? It's the lowest thing on the belt. And that's why I didn't want to get underneath it last night. The water dripping on me and all that. They make a thing. Right here you got your AC compressor, right? Called like the top mount, alternator mount, something for these 4.0s. You get rid of the AC, the alternator goes there. Probably a solid plan if you're doing a lot of off-roading. You don't want water getting all over the alternator. Jeep probably should have thought of that in the first place. They didn't. We're not doing that. I'm just mentioning it in case you have an XJ and it's a problem you have or you want to look at. Check it out. We don't really do any off-road with this thing because, well, it's pretty bone stock. Maybe once it's lifted, wheels, tires, and stuff, we'll do that. But I also like AC. But even though it doesn't work, maybe I could charge it. Maybe I should not worry about that and just fix the thing that's broken. I'm going to shut up and do that. Alright guys, so just underneath the Jeep here, we took this guy off right here. The skid plate that is pretty stout and need the impact to get it off. So, I've been on there a while. And I'm thinking this is their waterproof idea maybe for the alternator. This kind of went under the... It was higher than that, but still under the motor. And got a bunch of oil. It's actually in... Keep in mind, this thing's an 89 with almost 200,000 miles on it. And to still have this type of thing underneath it, pretty original Jeep. Mentioned before, I bought it from a girl who bought it from the original owner. So, yeah. And I'm also thinking that it's probably the original alternator if all this stuff is still here. Because I can't promise it's all going back on. This is what we're looking at here. So it kind of covered all of this. And there's the alternator, and it is definitely like it's, you can see it there, it's not going anywhere, it is seized up. So I guess I lost a bearing or something. We're going to yank that out, wipe off a little bit of this oil under here. It's not too bad. I've changed a lot of gaskets on this thing in the short time I've owned it because it's an 89 4.0 Jeep. That's just what you do. So, we yank that thing off and I'll bring it back when it's off. Alright guys, we got the alternator out. It sucks. I'd like about 3 minutes with the guy that engineered the whole thing. But, what are you going to do? So, here we go. New alternator, old alternator. You probably figure that out. So, this guy does this. This guy does not. And if you look, you can see little remnants of the belt inside the grooves there. Right there is bad right there. So this thing was, right there is where it was rubbing on pretty bad. So she locked up, and this is why. There's supposed to be more than 3 bearings in there, and I'm thinking that this guy right here should be centered somehow. So that's BAD. So this guy, she all sealed up. So that's good. You know, check the mounts. What we got here? They look the same, right? And then on the back, you got your plug connector. In the same spot, you got this plug connector. And then this guy. So this one, I couldn't get off. It's like seized in there, and every time you twist it, the whole thing spins. I ended up breaking that. So I just got to put a new connector underneath the Jeep, and then get back to putting it in. Let me show you guys what it looks like underneath there because, yeah. First, let me get a light because I got it charging. Because it took me that long to get it off. This was not very well done. And, yeah, so see this bracket here? That had to come off. Figured that out after I didn't take it off. So, trying to get you guys to see what's going on here. Okay, now I'm upside down. So, see this, and that. Those 3 bolts hold that bracket on. The alternator goes right in here. So I tried to, like you usually do, just take out the mounting bolts, which was one here and one up top. It won't come out of here. It sits on this piece of frame right here. So you got to take that bracket off, those 3 bolts to get it out. And then to make it even more fun, see, where's it at? The stud right here, see how it started pulling out? Yeah, there's nuts back behind them. So now I gotta put this guy back in. If it goes in. This is probably gonna be really fun. Oh no, it's not that bad. I'll probably put a little on that one, get in there. So, this one has a nut on the back of it, and so does this one. So, this is the one that started to come out on me, it's the bottom one. So just be careful. Maybe I had to put a wrench on the back of it. It's 11/16, 9/16 nut, 11/16 back here. And that was another good part of it. Some of the alternator parts were metric and some were standard. So, yeah, that just added to all the fun. But hopefully it goes in easier than it came out now that I know how to do it. So we're gonna throw this guy as far into the woods as possible and put that guy in the Jeep. I'm not gonna do that, it's littering, but still, I'd like to. All right guys, those 3 bolts there, got them all snugged down. The bottom one was way loose. It was actually coming out. The other 2 on top, I just put I got a little, on them. So, I don't know what the torque's supposed to be. Just, I didn't want them to come out if I got to pull that bracket off again. So, if you got this off, probably a good idea to check them. And then, over here, we got our new connector on there. All heat shrinked and all that, ready to go. So, we're going to wrestle the alternator back through this area here. It's not a lot of room, but bring you guys back when it's in. Alright guys, we got the alternator in, we got the belt on, and it's something I want to show you that's kind of specific to these Renix Jeeps. And like I said before, other videos on this thing, there's not a whole lot of information out there on these Renix Jeeps. So, things that are kind of particular to it, I like to show those. So, if you guys see a little bolt sticking out there underneath the pulley? That is your only adjustment point for this serpentine belt. So you got 2 bolts here, and there's 2 more on the bottom, and that loosens it up so you can kind of, and then you use that guy to roll it in and out, get it nice and tight, and that's it, you're done. The newer ones, they got that thing you stick the ratchet in, we don't have that. This Renix is still old school, but going towards the new. So it's kind of newer with the serpentine, but it's still got a different type of adjustment point. Just like a lot of things that I'm saying. If you watch some of the other videos that I have on this Jeep, you can see some of those things. I'm not going to give them away, you got to watch them. To gain access here, I took this fan out. There's this guy right here. That's the electric fan. You got your clutch fan on this side. It's just 2 bolts, like one there, 2 little, and you're done. So you can reach right in here, not to kill yourself to get in there. I've taken the box out before to get to the back bolts. This time I got it from the bottom. It was pretty easy with that skid plate out. I think you can reach it without it, with the skid plate in, but not 100% sure. But there was no reason to take this out, so I didn't want to wrestle with it. I just did that. So, show you what's going on underneath this thing. Since we're all done. Well, kind of. So, there's the alternator. All shiny and new. You can see brackets all back in there, no problems. The bolts went right back in. The bracket did bend a little bit when it got tweaked with that bolt, but wasn't terrible. I just I smacked it with a hammer a couple times. It was fine, and then everything went right back in. Those bolts all snugged up, no issues. And you can see the what's that there? Electrical connection coming in on the back. Good to go. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and throw the fan in, hook the battery up, and make sure everything's legit before I put that big son of a bitch back on. Bring it back when it's done. There you go, guys. She's back in action. Everything seems to be working as it should. No weird noises and stuff. Make sure this guy's charging. He's charging. Good guy. Alright. See what we got on the old gauge in here. Dead on the old 14 there, huh? Not bad at all. There you have it, guys. Alternator swapped out, and the Pugliese Speed Shop Jeep is back in action. Hey Johnny, you need to borrow it again, brother. There you go. Alright guys, so put the skid plate on, permanently hooked the battery up, cleaned up all the tools, put everything away, swept the area, we're done. And by the way, I'm sweeping up ball bearings over here because this thing was a mess. But yeah, what are you gonna do? We're all set. Hopefully, you know, you guys liked the episode. Hopefully you learned something. I know I did. I learned that I never want to change an alternator on this thing again. So I'm figuring out why, other than the whole water situation, why they would put that top mount kit on for the alternator, because that was ridiculous. Speaking of which, I'll see if I can find a link for that, and if so, have the kid put it in the description, because that's what he does. I don't know why. I'd like to meet the guy that was like, hey, you know what? Let's cram the alternator in there, because you know they go bad from time to time. So let's make it so it's like impossible, right? You know, so we'll put the skid plate in the way, this other coating, whatever that thing was, and then the frame's in the way. You can't even get it out without taking this bracket. It's a whole. I'd like to meet him just so I can ask him, like, you know, what were you thinking? Were you drinking? I don't know. And then I'd like to. I'm good. We're good. You know, it's got a little aggravated there for the. If you got to change one of these, you understand. It's just, there's no reason for it. But I digress. So, hopefully you guys liked the episode. There's absolutely no reason for me to be as dirty as I am changing an alternator, but the leaks that this thing had before I got it is probably part of that reason too. Because I mean, even though I've pressure washed it, I think twice now, I still haven't gotten all the stuff. Maybe I'll take the skid plate off and do it. That skid plate was pretty stout, and speaking of which, there was one when I first bought this thing covering a gas tank too. So that's good that they like to, you know, protect these things. I guess I don't know if it's because it's a limited or just if they were on all of them. I don't know. But I don't remember one being on my last one, which was like the base model. So maybe it is because it's limited. Think about putting it back on the gas tank. I put this one on just because it kind of looks weird without it with the bumper. Maybe when I do the lift and put the... Let me stop. That'll be on the next episode. Hopefully the next episode for this will be when we do all that. So I'll talk about that then. But now that we got this done, we are one step closer to being back to how we all were before John's run of bad luck. Jeff, I heard, got his brake lines fixed. If you know Jeff, you'll understand. I don't want to know how he fixed them. I hope he didn't use the little gator things. I heard he ordered the lines, and I'm asleep better just thinking that's how he did it. This guy's back on the road. The road glide is well, it's done, but not in the way we'd like it to be. What are you gonna do? And then his truck, motor, flawless. Full disclosure, after we finished that episode and he drove off, had some issues. Nothing with the motor. It actually was transmission related, which shouldn't have anything to do with the motor. But there's a slight possibility it had something to do with compatibility of that motor, which we're looking stuff up. We're trying to figure that out. So if you're working on something like that and you're about to go do a motor swap on an 09 Silverado or Sierra, don't use the van motor right yet. I'll let you know. But other than that, it's late as hell, and I'm a filthy mess. I'm gonna get out of here. So, until next time, guys, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, tell a friend, and as always, thanks for watching.